What's going on, Alabama fans? We're going to be breaking down this Iron Bowl matchup coming up this weekend. Get in the comments section for me and let me know your score predictions for this game. I'll give mine at the very end of this video today, so make sure you guys stick around for that as well. Coming up on today's show, we are going to be breaking down this Iron Bowl matchup between Alabama and Auburn. The Crimson Tide have not had the best season so far this year, but Auburn has not been any better themselves. They're fighting for a chance to go to a bowl game if they win this game against Alabama. The Crimson Tide are an 11-point favorite in this game, which makes me very nervous considering it seems like almost every single time Alabama has been a double-digit favorite this year, they let you down and they don't just not cover the spread. They end up losing the game altogether. Now, that doesn't track, all the way, but it just seems like that, every time Alabama goes and plays some kind of inferior team outside of like Mercer or, Western Kentucky, they just, play to that standard, and that is something in this game that Alabama can absolutely not afford to do. You are the better team. Just like last week, you were the better team. It's about preparing this week, the correct way, going out there with the right mindset. And look, man, this is a rivalry game. This is a team that you absolutely hate. I hate the Auburn Tigers, man. I hate their fan base. I hate their colors. My girlfriend got me a shirt the other day. It was a nice flannel shirt. I put it on and thought, yeah, this looks pretty nice. But then I realized it was blue and orange, and I told her, no, absolutely not. We got to go back. We got to get a different color shirt. I like the fabric. I like the flannel vibes, but I cannot be wearing a blue and orange shirt. This is really what this rivalry is all about. You got households divided in the state of Alabama. It's going to be a big one. We'll see if Alabama can pull this one out. Because, like I said, it's been an up and down season for the Crimson Tide this year. A couple fun facts about this Iron Bowl. Alabama does lead the overall series, 50 wins, 37 losses, and there's actually one tie in the mix there as well. But look, Alabama has absolutely dominated this rivalry going back the past 13 years. They've won 10 out of the last 13 matchups. But one fun fact that I did not know until this week, just, going on Twitter and seeing everybody talk about, different things related to this Iron Bowl, Alabama actually has one win at home against Auburn when Nick Saban was not the coach. And that might blow your mind, but fact check it. You can Google it. It is absolutely true. The only win that Alabama has against Auburn in Tuscaloosa was actually in 2020. And you think, wow, Nick Saban was the coach then. Well, that was the game that he had COVID, and Steve Sarkisian was actually your interim head coach for that game. That's the only time Alabama has beaten Auburn in Bryant-Denny Stadium, because the first Iron Bowl played in Tuscaloosa was in the year 2000. So you're trying to make history today, on Saturday, to be one of the first Alabama teams to beat Auburn at home without Nick Saban. You can kind of asterisk that 2020 game. But look, it's a big one. Hope Alabama goes out there and makes it 11 out of the last 14 seasons. Last 5 games for Auburn have been okay. They started off the season just absolutely terrible. But they have kind of started to, find a groove in what they're able to do this year. They lost against Missouri, a game that they definitely should have won. They lost, last minute in that game, and then they go and beat Kentucky. They're really bad. Vanderbilt comes in, beats Auburn. Diego Pavia just absolutely owns the state of Alabama, and especially owns Auburn. He's beat them 3 times in his career. Then they kind of get back on track against ULM. Obviously, it's ULM. That's kind of the same thing as Mercer there. But their offense did start to look a little bit better, and then they won that big game against Texas A&M last week. That really did not help you out at all. That was a 4-overtime game. They won that one. Like I said, the offense really starting to get on track for Auburn, and I really have a feeling in this game they're going to use that same playbook Oklahoma and Vanderbilt did against you. You're going to see that little inside toss, I would assume. If you're Hugh Freeze and you don't have that little inside toss, what are you doing? You're going to see a lot of RPOs. You're going to see a lot of read options. And, we'll talk about the keys to victory on this game here in a little bit. But I think you absolutely have to stop the run in this game, which makes me very, very nervous, to be honest with you. So let me know at the pinned comment of today's video, guys. Who do you have in this matchup? Type BAMA if you've got Alabama, or type AUB if you have Auburn winning this game. There should just be nothing but Bama's in the comment section after all. This is an Alabama channel, so get down there at the pinned comment and let me know who you guys got in this Iron Bowl matchup. Now, Auburn has just been absolutely talking so much trash in the media this week, and it fits, right? Because they're the inferior Auburn Tigers. They think you got to go out there and talk a lot of crap in the media, building up for a game like this just to get yourself hyped up. Alabama doesn't have to do that. After their game versus Texas A&M last week, Auburn linebacker Eugene Asante, they're on the field. It was the heat of the moment type thing, so I give them a little bit of, grace there. But somebody said, what are we going to do to Alabama this week? And he said, we finna beat that ass. So that really reminds me of that Vanderbilt player a couple years ago talking about, Bama, you next. Kind of reminds me of the same vibes. But the trash talk did not start there. Actually, this week in the media, this is what Cam Coleman, freshman wide receiver, said about the Iron Bowl. He said, really, this is a revenge tour. We're going into their place and we're going to take over their crib, and we're just going to take over and have fun while we're doing it. This is going to be some of the last memories that we make with each other, so let's go make this a memorable game. So not too out of pocket, but go basically saying, we're going into your crib and we are taking over your crib. Freshman linebacker DeMarcus Riddick kind of getting super out of pocket with his comments this weekend, talking about Ryan Williams. Say Ryan Williams is just Ryan Williams. He's electric, he's all this, he's all that. But in my eyes, he ain't really nobody to me. Ryan Williams is just himself. He ain't no big-time player to me. And that's just absolutely ridiculous. I hope Ryan Williams goes for 200 yards on his ass in this game, because Ryan Williams is probably a top 5 wide receiver just in total, I think, this year in college football. And he is definitely one of the top 2 best freshmen, including Cam Coleman, who is on your team as well. He goes on to talk about just the Iron Bowl in general in this rivalry. And he said, like I said, Bama is a big rival team. Every rival team I ever played, I never lost to. And I will not lose to Bama while I'm here. Not something you could really say about the seniors of this Auburn class, who have lost 4 straight to the Crimson Tide. Hopefully Alabama can make it 8 straight by the time DeMarcus Riddick is, off. And he's a really good player. I'm not going to lie about that. He's a really good player. He's going to go to the NFL one day. But I really hope Alabama beats his ass every single time they play. Goes on, continues talking shit, talking about Jalen Milroe here, saying, look, he's a good quarterback. He's fast, but he's not faster than me. He will not get outside the box this week. And, that might be true. Let's just be honest. It's kind of the same thing going into last week against Oklahoma. Obviously that was Alabama's game plan to get Jalen Milroe going in the run game, and he was not able to get outside the box. So, hopefully Alabama can go out there and dominate this game and shut these absolute dumbasses up. But I'm getting fired up here because I hate the Auburn Tigers. They just do this all the time. They talk and they talk and they talk, and they're going to be battling in this game to try to get a chance to just go to a bowl game. Like I said, they are 5-6 on the season. And we will be live for the Iron Bowl. We'll go live 1 hour before kickoff, so do not miss out. Hit that sub button for me right now. That's youtube.com/@RollTideTV. We have our watch parties for every single Alabama football game. So come party with us. We'll have fun, win or lose. You can come see my meltdown if we're losing, or I'll be talking a lot of crap if we're winning this game. So come hang out with us during our Iron Bowl watch party. Subscribe right now. We'll get into our keys to victory here in just a second, but first I want to give a shout out to our sponsor today, Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best way to get action on sports in over 30 different states, including California, Florida, Georgia, and Texas. Prize Picks is the only real money daily fantasy sports platform with an injury insurance policy. So your lineup stays in play even if one of your players gets injured. If your player leaves in the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks keeps your lineup live. One of my favorite things about Prize Picks is the flex play. You don't have to get every single one of your picks right to come out on top. You can get one wrong, and you can still win your Prize Picks lineups. You can also do the power play. This one, you have to get every single one of your picks right, but you get more money on your return. So sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You do not even have to win to receive the $50 bonus. It is just guaranteed. So download Prize Picks today and get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Use promo code CLNS and get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. That link will be in the comments section and the description of today's video. It's Prize Picks. Run your game. All right, some keys to victory here now for this Iron Bowl matchup. Key to victory number 1, you have got to be able to stop the run in this game. Last week, Alabama gave up 257 rushing yards, which is just not going to cut it, especially in the SEC, in a league like this. You saw last week, Jackson Arnold ran for 100 yards on the ground. Xavier Robinson also ran for 100 yards on the ground. And I think it's going to be the same exact thing in this game this week. You got Jarquez Hunter for Auburn. He is a fantastic running back. I think he's one of the most underrated running backs, that could possibly go into the 2025 NFL draft this year. He's got over 1,100 yards, 6.6 yards per carry. He did a good job last year versus versus Alabama, 14 carries for 93 yards as well. So it's really going to be Jarquez Hunter and then Peyton Thorne as well. We joke and we talk about Peyton Thorne not being able to, throw the football very consistently for Auburn. But, one thing that he definitely can hurt you with is his legs, just like Jalen Milroe. I mean, these two quarterbacks are almost identical. Obviously, Jalen Milroe's rushing stats are way better than Peyton Thorne's, but Peyton Thorne is definitely a guy that can get outside the pocket, and he can hurt you if you are not able to contain him. And look, his rushing stats do not pop off the screen by any means right now, but it was the same exact storyline going into that Oklahoma game. The stats are almost identical between Peyton Thorne and Jackson Arnold. And then Jackson Arnold goes into that game last week and rushes for over, I think it was like 131 yards last week against you. Peyton Thorne last year as well, was really able to extend a lot of drives on third down as well. Last year, he had 15 carries for 57 yards. So you put that together with Jarquez Hunter, and this is definitely something that Alabama's going to have to stop this week if they want any kind of chance of, keeping the ball, because this could be a game as well of, time of possession. You go back to that Vanderbilt game. You go back to that game last week as well. You weren't able to stop the run in those games. You weren't able to get off the field on third downs. Alabama's going to have to do that if they want any chance of winning this game. Key to victory number 2 here now. Can we just let the running backs get the ball? That is my biggest ask for this game. I don't care. Well, I do care, but I don't care if we go in there and lose and, you throw everything at the wall and, you're not just hoping it sticks, right? You have got to get these running backs the ball. I think, you can start off the game trying to get Jalen Milroe involved in the run game, because when he is on, he is on. He can go for a lot of yards, but when he's not, we've just gotten away from the run game with these running backs, and I think it has just been, a terrible way to use them, and it honestly makes me very, very nervous about these guys, hopping into the portal after this season is over. Justice Haynes, 72 carries this year. He needs to get more carries, man. There is no reason that Justice Haynes is not getting the ball more. Now, Kalen DeBoer this week said that Justice Haynes has been one of those guys who has been battling injuries and to be able to stay on the field this year. So maybe that's got a little bit something to do with it. But, I mean, both of these guys are averaging over 5 yards a carry, and you just absolutely refuse to give them the ball on a consistent basis. Look, if Alabama goes out there and they give the running backs just a total of 25, 30 carries, I think you got a good chance to win this game, especially if Jalen Milroe is not able to get the run game going like last week. I mean, this is just not it, man. Jam Miller had 12 carries for 45 yards. Sure, that's like 3.8 yards per carry, but it's still something, right? It's still more than Jalen Milroe had in that game. Justice Haynes had only 3 carries for 18 yards in this game. That's an average of 6 yards per carry. I just do not understand why we just refuse to get the running backs to give the running backs the ball. It's been a thing all season long. I understand your offensive line hasn't been very good. But look, if the run game's not getting going with Jalen Milroe, you have to get it going with these 2 other backs, because I genuinely believe they're 2 of the best backs, at least in the SEC. You put these guys together, they should have at least 1,200 yards this season, and you're just not giving them the ball enough. And I think that has definitely, hindered the offense this season. So what is your confidence level in Alabama beating Auburn this week? Let me know in the comments section of today's video. Scale it for me 1 to 10, 1 on the low end, 10 on the high end. What is your confidence level in the Crimson Tide coming away with a dub this weekend? Key to victory number 3 now. Your offensive line has got to step up. We did our video yesterday about Jalen Milroe and how the experiment just has not panned out the way a lot of us have wanted it to. But there are a lot more factors than just Jalen Milroe, not being able to read defenses and not being able to, make throws consistently. Your offensive line has been terrible. And honestly, it's been a problem since like that 2021 season. You go back, Bryce Young was sacked like 31 times a couple of years ago. So it really did start then. This is not a new thing this year that your offensive line has not been very good. And if there's one guy I'm looking at in particular, it's Elijah Pritchett. Now, these are the PFF pass block grades for Elijah Pritchett. Tony Tsoukalas put this out a couple of days ago on Twitter. According to PFF, Alabama offensive tackle Elijah Pritchett has registered a pass blocking grade of below 41 in 5 of his last 7 games. And, the grade itself is whatever. I don't really care what the grade is. You got to just look at the range of the grade, right? And I really do think it tells a little bit of a story for you. Whether it's a 36 or a 55, it doesn't really matter to me. You can watch the film and you can watch the game. Elijah Pritchett just gets beat way too consistently. He's not very good in the run game either. And he's been a guy that I've picked on all season long, just being super inconsistent. And the right side of your offensive line has just not been very good either, because Jaden Roberts has been in and out. You got to put Geno Vandermark in there. But, man, Elijah Pritchett has got to step up in this game. Everybody has got to step up in this game, for Alabama's offensive line if they want any chance of winning this ball game. Because, look, if Jalen Milroe's not able to get things going on the ground, there is a reason for that. It's not just because, he doesn't know what to do. He knows how to run the football. That's the best thing, in his arsenal. But he's got to get some help, both from the offensive line and those wide receivers in this game. So my score prediction for this game, there's absolutely no shot that I'm picking Auburn. All for pride. Look, you're a better team than them, but the ups and downs of this year have just been very, very inconsistent. I really hope Jalen Milroe goes out there and has the game of his life. I don't think this one hits the over. I don't think Alabama covers the spread. I think it's going to be an ugly one. The Iron Bowl is always an ugly game, but I'm going to go with Alabama winning this one 20-17.